The average American is not in the stock market. They're not feeling that. They're not in the AI companies that are taking off. They're not in XRP, the crypto. Like, they are buying groceries, getting gas, putting it on a credit card because their boss doesn't pay them enough, and they want to buy a house at some point. And all that feels impossible with how things are going right now. All right. Well, howdy and welcome to the show today. We are going to talk about credit cards, Trump's 10% cap on credit cards, what that means for you, some of those decisions he's making, why he's making them, and anything you should know about credit cards. I'm Pastor Landon. I'm the pastor that talks about money because everyone else isn't, although Jesus did 15% of the time. If you could do me a huge favor, smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment down below something nice, not something nasty, and you will help me get into the better algorithms out there and reach more people. Thank you in advance. So, credit cards, Trump, what's happening? Why is he doing all these things? Why is he making all these sweeping decisions that have big impacts? We've been in a weird place in the economy. The economy seems to be doing well in some aspects. The housing market's been stalled for about 3 years. This week, we are at the record low interest rate for the last 3 years, the lowest point in 3 years. As I'm filming this, that is where we're at. And Trump's making a lot of decisions to stimulate that market and try to make things cheaper for the average American. Why is he doing this? So we're not in a recession, but we're in something called a rolling recession. So it's not that painful, but it's kind of painful. It's like, it never crashed, but we're in kind of like this extended limbo where the economy can't take back off. It's taken off in the stock market. The stock market's been great for a couple of years, but that's not the average American. The average American is not in the stock market. They're not feeling that. They're not in the AI companies that are taking off. They're not in XRP, the crypto. Like, they are buying groceries, getting gas, putting it on a credit card because their boss doesn't pay them enough, and they want to buy a house at some point. And all that feels impossible with how things are going right now. So Trump is doing many things to try to break us out of this kind of economical limbo we're stuck in. And one of those things was cutting credit card interest rates to 10%. So what people don't realize, and maybe you read that and you're like, wow, that feels like a lot of interest to be paying. So what is 10% interest on a credit card? So say you're holding a $10,000 line of credit open that you've maxed out. You spent $10,000 on a credit card. In 1 year, you will have paid $1,000 in interest. People think, is it monthly? Is it like, what does that mean? You are paying $1,000 in interest over the year. So divided by 12, you're going to pay that interest every month as you're going through the year. 10%, that's great. I think I actually have a home equity line of credit that's higher than that. So maybe I'll just start putting things on credit cards. Just kidding. But the reason he's doing this is the average American is holding a pretty big balance. It looks like average American does have $10,000 in credit card debt. So what is the average interest rate of a normal credit card right now? It is 24%. That's crazy. So instead of paying $1,000 for that 10 grand that you're holding all year long, you're paying $2,500 a year in interest. So he's cutting the interest that you would pay literally down by $1,500. He's putting $110 in your pocket every month. That's a lot for the guy that's making minimum wage right now. Maybe he stacked up this credit card debt. He had his truck break down. He wanted Christmas for his kids. He's got a lot of things going on, and he threw it on a credit card. Shouldn't have done that, but he did. Just trying to make ends meet. I think a lot of people do this in tight pinches, and they think they're going to get ahead at some point, and they can't because of the interest rate. Maybe you can pay that $2,500 off this year. Oh, but you just paid the interest. You still are carrying the $10,000 loan basically you got from a bank on a credit card. And a lot of them have clauses where if you don't pay that balance off by this point, all of a sudden it ratchets up 30%, 35%. Oh, you're delinquent on a payment. It gets worse. And then all of a sudden you're like basically going to debtor's prison because you can't dig out of this hole. This is where a lot of Americans find themselves. It's a painful place to be. We should be very disciplined with our credit. This is a Band-Aid. This is trying to help people dig out. I love it. I think it's an awesome thing to do to help the average American. And the only person it hurts is American Express, MasterCard, all these big banks. Yeah, it's painful. It's kind of criminal to be making 25% on people. That's outrageous. I have no problem with a mortgage. Oh, our interest rate's so high. 6%. The bank makes 6% from you a year, and they give you a massive loan so you can own a house. I believe in that. I think that's great. Everyone should make money. I'm not the guy that's trying to cut everyone out around me from making money. I think, yeah, a business needs to make money. Do they need to make 25% on the middle class and low class of America? That's painful, and that's me. And they ruin lives this way. So Trump is getting involved. He's inserting himself. He's cutting rates to 10% to help people dig out of this hole. Let's get into some of the questions people have around this about credit cards. Should Christians use credit cards? I think it depends on what you're going to use it for. I think you can go through seasons where you're trying to make ends meet, you're trying to get ahead. A credit card is just spending money in the future you don't have. And if it's just done for consumer goods and meals out and trips that you probably shouldn't take, it's probably foolish. It would go into the foolish category. I wouldn't say you're in sin or evil. It's none of those things. A credit card, it could be evil, but it's often just in the foolish category, and it makes you a slave. It really does, because they take advantage of you. There's a 25% interest rate. That's horrible. Nobody would pay that loan, but nobody reads the fine print. Nobody would sign up for a mortgage at 25%. They wouldn't sign up for it at 10%, but we sign up for it with credit cards. I don't think it's sinful for a Christian to use credit cards. I use credit cards. Often I use credit cards as a tool. So there's tons of YouTube videos out there on credit cards and the different types of credit cards, what you can do with points, all this stuff. My favorite hack with credit cards is there's plenty of them out there that offer 0% interest for 18 months, 24 months. They're trying to get you hooked into using them, and then they charge you all that interest. If you're doing a remodel, I've done this multiple times. I pull out a bunch of these interest-free credit cards, and by a bunch, I mean 2 or 3. They give you a big line of credit, and then I put the whole remodel on the credit cards. And then you go to sell the property, pay them off, or you refinance the property and you pay them off. You have to be very disciplined to do this. It's not so you can buy a truck you can't afford, or a gun you can't afford, or going out to nice dinners with somebody that you can't afford. Credit cards are not to just be a bridge to a future life you don't have yet. If your employer isn't paying you that much and you think you deserve something you don't have, like nice meals and an excess of cash, well, you should work harder in your job, not pull out a credit card. It's an instant gratification, cheap substitute to feel like you're somewhere you're not. And car loans are a bit like this too. There can be smart car loans. There's lots of 0% car loans out there. I have no problem with free money. The bank is just going to carry a loan at 0% on your car. That can work a lot of the time. The problem with most cars is they depreciate really quick. Depreciation, it's the value you lose in a car in the time you've owned it. I had a friend recently, he may be sitting in this room. He brought a new Tesla. And over the course of 18 months, it lost about $1,500 of value every month. So not only did he buy the car cost him money. He didn't realize that cost until after he sold it. And that stinks. It's a really painful thing in the car market where people get upside down. You don't want to get upside down with the car payment, and you don't want to get caught in this depreciation that happens with cars. I would recommend you buy a $3,000 car built in the 90s from a Japanese person. They build the best cars. They last a really long time, and they often will lose value. So you buy a car from original owner, and it's a Honda Civic from 99. It's ugly. It is not going to impress anyone, but it is going to get you from point A to point B. And in 5 years, when you go to sell it, it'll be worth $3,000. In 2 years, when you go to sell it, it's going to be worth $3,000. And it probably didn't cost you very much in maintenance. I was explaining this to a young guy the other day. Vehicles today are built to break. They are built to break because the only way a dealership makes any money is through service. So they are literally built to break. Refrigerators are like this. All appliances now are like this. That's why in your parents' garage, there's a freezer that's been there for 40 years, runs great. But your new touchscreen refrigerator breaks every 6 months. I have air conditioning units on one of my rentals. It's 35 years old, and they run like old F-150s. They never break. They're great. Always good. I have new AC units on one of my houses, and they break all the time. So all these companies, they build things to break. Cars are the same way. So expensive cars, expensive repair bills. Cheap car, anyone can work on it. You can work on it. YouTube videos on how to. So got a little off track there on cars. I will always get distracted with cars. Often I'll turn my head very quick while I'm driving, and my wife's like, what was that? Because most guys, if they turn their head really quick, they're looking at a woman. I saw a for sale sign. Credit cards. Christians, can they use them? Absolutely. I would prefer to use them like a tool that helped me build a legacy. If they're trying to fast forward a life that you don't have, I wouldn't do that. And I would, instead of taking the instant gratification, the cheap additional money, and by cheap, I mean you didn't earn it, I would look in the mirror and I would say, what do I need to do to be a person that earns that kind of income? What additional work do I need to do to get there? Not go out to nice dinners because you earned it. You didn't. If the market isn't paying you what you think you deserve, you're not worth it. That's like a hard truth to receive, especially as a young man, but you need to deal with reality, and work up from there. Be the guy that shows up first, stays late, work hard. It's not hard to outwork this generation right now. Everybody wants to clock in, clock out, do the bare minimum. If you're the guy that shows up early, works hard, asks for more, asks how to help their boss, I guarantee you'll get promoted in 6 months, a year. It's not going to take long because nobody's doing it. I hire people, I employ people. It's not hard to tell when somebody is stepping up and trying to go the extra mile, and those people get rewarded. So encourage you, work harder before you get more credit cards. If you're in a ditch with a credit card, dig out of it as quickly as you can. If you have assets to sell, I've done this many times. If I have an extra car, if you have a guitar hanging up on your wall, if you've got nice shoes you could sell, like there's plenty of things you can get rid of, and pay off debt. There's no reason not to. You'll feel a lot better when you're out of that. I probably disagree with Dave Ramsey on a lot of things. I don't think people should ring up these credit cards, auto loans, all this stuff. So we would definitely agree on those things. It's where we get to saving money that we would disagree. Last question in wrapping up. If you don't have a credit card, what advice would I give you? Go learn about credit cards first. Go watch a bunch of YouTube videos. Graham Stephan, Iced Coffee Hour, his old stuff. He has tons of stuff on credit cards. Credit cards, they can be used to help you build credit, and then help you get a house loan. Like that's really the only reason I saw how to get a credit card originally. The points thing, I get it. People love the points. I rack up a lot of points. I put a lot of recurring expenses on credit cards, so I rack up points. I think it's great. It's fun. Not everyone is very self-controlled, so you need to know thyself. If you're somebody that is just going to rack up credit card debt, and then you're like, oh yeah, I'll pay it off next month, and then it builds and builds and builds and builds, you probably shouldn't do it for points. If you're a disciplined person, you could pay that thing off every month. Sure, rack up the points. I love it. It's free money-ish. The way it turns into not free money is the minute you start missing payments, the minute you just hold a balance, because then they're making money, you're not. They're not doing the points so that everyone profits off them. They're doing the points to get you hooked. So everything about a credit card, it's just get you hooked. It's to get you enjoying carrying a large balance, and they like you paying this very high interest rate. Go learn about credit cards. Learn up what makes up a credit score. It's like 30% utilization, 30% your payment history, 30% your like mix of credit, and then 10% is a mystery. Just there's a breakdown of that. You guys can go watch that online. There's tons of videos on that. You don't have to keep a balance. You can just pay it off constantly and your credit score will run up. You can also be an authorized user on somebody's account. I didn't get this. It's a bit of a blessing if somebody was willing to hand it out to you. Often good Christian parents will give you one of their credit cards, put your name on it. It builds your credit. You kind of draft off their credit. But I've seen this go wrong many times. I knew somebody very well that their grandpa did it for them, and then they went delinquent on a bunch of debt, and their grandpa had to go pay it off for them because their grandpa didn't want their credit score to get hurt. So I don't know. I'm like 50-50 on if I'd recommend that. If you're a wise person, your parents are wise, you have a very overt conversation about it, it's a good hack to build credit very quickly. Go get a credit card. They're not going to give you a very big limit. They'll give you like $1,200 on your first credit card. Just put $100 on it every month. You don't have to do much more than that to build a credit score. And then they'll increase your balance, your available credit. That'll take a little while once they see you can do it. And then the training wheels come off and they give you like a $30,000 line and you get yourself in a lot of trouble. So yeah, a credit card's a tool, much like a gun. You can get yourself in trouble with it. If you learn how to do it right, you get the training, the knowledge about it, you shouldn't get hurt. But many people are foolish with it. And it's kind of a silent killer because all of a sudden you can get $40, $50, $60, $70,000 in debt and no way to dig out of that hole. Go learn about it and smash that subscribe button. Thanks for tuning in to this video. If you made it this far, very grateful.